Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Brak the Owl, Brak the Oshai, Brak the Owl, Brak the Oshai, Brak the Owl, Bashmi Oshai, Bashma, Rakah Kadash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. As well as honors to you brothers out there on the highways and byways, you brothers that are in GMS, as well as you brothers that are not in GMS, but you teach the same thing, you brothers that are GMS affiliates. Shalom to you brothers. Let's all keep pushing. Let's all stay encouraged. Just found this out by chance. I was looking for something to post. I tried to record something. Didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to. So I was looking for something else because I want to get some videos out there. New York Post, ultra processed foods linked to cognitive decline dementia study. I might actually post this out somewhere. Post this in the description box because I'm not going to read the entire thing. This thing took me about a few minutes to read. I'm just going to read a part of it, pull out some scriptures, and that'll be that. So ultra processed foods might take our lives easier and taste delicious. Might make our lives easier and taste delicious, but they might have detrimental impacts down the line, possibly leading to dementia. Also, people out there such as myself that are actually sensitive to these foods, and they'll just ruin them. You feel nauseous afterwards. These type of foods are not made for human consumption. And now, if you're poor, you don't really have a lot of money. This may be the stuff that you're living off of, but you gotta get your money up, man. You gotta find a job, you gotta pray on it. You gotta look for different opportunities. We all know about the gig work. There's investing. You can always get into anything technological, the app market, the games market. Those are always things that you can pretty much tap into. And a lot of those programs are completely free, so all you gotta do is know how to program, and that's an option and something you could tap into. And these are just things that I know. You could do your own research and you probably find a lot more. Right? A new study published in JAMA Neurology on Monday found that people could be at a higher risk of cognitive decline if more than 20% of their daily caloric intake is ultra-processed foods. Right? And these foods are mass-produced on farms, subsidized farms by the government, right? Mass-produced, processed in factories, so on and so forth. And who knows what's going on in those factories, man? Fucking rat shit get into that food because they're cooking for thousands and thousands, millions of fucking people a day. So these are big-ass fucking companies we're talking about, right? That's about 400 calories a day in a diet of 2,000 calories a day, which that's the daily value. You look at DV, that's based on a 2,000 calorie diet. I mean, now that depends. It's an average person. That means average, right? Average American diet, which means it's not really taking account for say an athlete, someone who's eating probably 4,000, 5,000, and in some big cases even 10,000 calories a day. They'll be eating way more than just 2,000. And in terms of getting their food from fast food, they'll probably get a lot more than that, because good fucking luck trying to get 10,000 calories on the fucking Whole Foods diet. It's just not happening, man. And that's really the beautiful thing about eating a Whole Foods diet, is because you don't really need that much to fill you, especially if you know the right foods, like something like cassava. I had cassava before. You honestly don't need that much to fill you up. Going back into this, that's about 400 calories in a day in a diet of 2,000 calories a day. I'll order a small fries and a regular cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's 430 calories. All right, so it's more than 20%. Right, and this one's more than 20%. As I said about the athletes, they're probably eating 80%. Right, because how the fuck you gonna get 10,000 calories off of Whole Foods? It's just not happening. Right, because Whole Foods are foods that are low in calories but high in nutrients, and they fill you up quick, right? Like a banana, you have a banana or two, Like that'll fill you up way more than like one of those what do you call them, dollar Utz chips, right? You'll get filled off more of the banana and get way more off the bananas than you will off the Utz chips, you know. Even though bananas by themselves, I wouldn't do that. I mean, you have sugar in the bananas too. I mean, I was saying, like, in terms of like getting your potassium and stuff like that, I wouldn't just get it from bananas. I would like get vegetables and stuff with it. Other examples of ultra processed foods include frozen pizza, hot dogs, sausages, sodas, cookies, candies, donuts, and ice creams. These are pretty much the shit that you shouldn't be eating. And that's the spirit too, because I posted that documentary on how to get fat in America without really trying, and it talks about all these. And that was in like, it has to be like in the 90s when that thing was created, man, or something, or like early 2000s, the way the video looked. So you can look at that. I put it in my community tab on YouTube. So, in a study, research defined ultra processed foods as industrial formulations of food substances, oils, fats, sugars, starches, and protein isolates. And what's protein isolates? Fucking protein powder, man. All right? Which, you know better, you do better. All right? So, I mean, this is just one study, too. Yeah, they have to do more studies, but, I mean, I always knew that protein isolates, I mean, that's just, it's processed, man. I mean, now, you can make your own protein powder. Like, I think Steve Reeves, you look into it, that was a bodybuilder back in the day, like 50s and 60s and stuff. Maybe not 60s, maybe like 40s and 50s. He made his own protein powder, and you just do it with like the milk, and there's something you do it in, you turn it into a powder. But nowadays, this stuff is coming from factories, like I told you brothers at my last camp. I was bought a protein powder, and I didn't even know. But I look at the back of it, and it says may have been processed in a facility that also has nuts, shellfish, fish, crustaceans, and other stuff. And I was just reading that, and I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I had no idea about that. I never looked at the back of it, because I thought it was just fucking protein powder. But that stuff's processed too, man. So if you're going to get protein powder, you might as well use, the ones, for one, that isn't from a factory. If you were going to use it, I would say use that, sparingly, I wouldn't use that every day. I would say if you're like in a pinch, then you have it. Or you can get some that's like veggie protein powder. You could try that instead. Something like that. That contain little or no whole foods and typically include flavorings, colorants, emulsifiers, and other cosmetic additives, right? Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree righteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Okay? Because in this society, it's completely legal for them to do this. Now, in this society, murder is illegal, which is correct, right? You're not supposed to be murdering people, right? But what they do legalize is murder through the food. So they allow big corporations and big companies to murder you, but then it's against the law to like murder your neighbor. I murder someone that's right next to you. And I'm saying neighbor, I'm using that one term to mean anybody. Just to like, you're just walking down the street, you just murder somebody, right? You're gonna go to jail, right? Or you murder your neighbor is someone that lives like right next to you, right? I don't mean neighbor as in kinsman or neighbor according to the scriptures. I mean like a broad American society version of the word neighbor, right? But then they allow the government to do that, right? And that's some righteous decrees, because that's just the way that they have it set up, which is off. Right? Shouldn't be making no fucking processed foods, man. Right? And then with the land, it's supposed to get the land rest. That's why Gad like to move around. Get that land rest. You come back. Well, Gad, he didn't need to go leave for like 20 years. You could have just did the 6th year and the 7th year you stop and then you come back again. You could have did that. Or you could have just stayed in the same general area, just changed, where he was farming, and that would have been that. But that was Gad's thing. Gad likes to move around. you know, and guys still like that. But back to this, let's get another precept, right? All right, getting to the point, right? Ezekiel to the 4 verse 13, and the Lord Yahweh said, even now shall the children of Israel eat the defiled bread among the Gentiles, where thou would drive them. Right? And how are we doing this today? You know, we're eating our defiled bread, fucked up ass foods among the Gentiles, meaning literal fucking heathen. You know, whether we were driven to. And that's what happened, you know, when we were in the world, right? We can get this one real quick. Right? Was it this one? No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is. 1 Corinthians 12:2. You know that you were Gentiles, mean that you were in a Gentile like mine, you were in a heathen like mine, right? Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led, right? So we were carried unto their idols, we were carried unto their ways growing up, right? Because we were driven to these lands, right? And we were put under these heathens, and we started to act like them, right? Which is like what happened to us. What happened back then in the time of the Greeks and Romans and all that. Us moving around in different regions and starting to become like them, right? We know all about Antiochus Epiphanes and so on and so forth, right? And the same thing happened here, right? We dragged off the west coast of Africa, the children of Judah, the southern, dragged off the west coast of Africa, dragged here to America, right? Also pushed away into the Caribbean, you know, to work under other Edomites and other regions as well. And when I say Judah, I mean, broadly, because, Hatians, Levi was pushed off to Haiti, Benjamin went to Jamaica, and Judah came right here to America. And you have the Northern Kingdom, which was already here, which that's second, that's the 13th chapter. And we're dragged here. These Edomites came and they forced their ways onto us. And, we're following that shit. And the only way that we've gotten out of it is through the Holy Spirit, So, yeah. And now that we know better, we're not eating our defiled bread amongst these Gentiles anymore. Which, our food is still, defiled, right? Because, technically, like, if you go to, like, a Muslim restaurant, right, which, the reason why you want to go to a Muslim restaurant is because the food quality is typically better. But those Muslim restaurants, they, those, like, halal foods, they offer that stuff up to Allah, which is a false idol. So, all that stuff, still food offered to idols. But you can eat that food anyway. It talks about that, I think, 1 Corinthians 8th chapter. We just know that the Most High created all these foods, and that their gods are no gods, and so on and so forth, right? Or the gods are demons. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and this one, barley cakes. That's what Haiti is doing. And I shall eat as barley cakes, and I shall bake it with dung that cometh out of a man in their sight. And that's what Haiti is doing today. They're drinking, not drinking, they're actually taking shit burgers. It's pretty fucking bad. Haiti's down bad, but Haiti used to actually be, I think, one of the richest countries in the West at one point, but not no more. When I think after the Haitian Revolution, they rose to prominence for a little while, but not no more though. Okay, so I'm gonna read like a little bit more of this because you pretty much get the point. 58% of the calories consumed by the United States citizen, 56.8% of the calories consumed by the British citizens, and 48% of the calories consumed by Canadians come from ultra-processed foods. And this is why we don't follow these people's ways, man. We don't follow these fucking people, right? It's all fucking deception. Right? Eating the way these people eat, it's just gonna fucking kill you, man. And even with the, off the ultra-processed shit, what these people eat, fucking healthy food to these people, fucking bacon, fucking sushi. These are delicacies to these fucking people, man. Right? Just like back in ancient Rome, In Greece, blood was a pagan delicacy. What these people like to do with their meat, like to have it fucking bloody. Like if you eat the fucking steak bloody, man, it's fucking wicked, man. Alright, you're not supposed to be eating that shit. Co-author Dr. Claudia Soimoto, assistant professor in the division of the geriatrics, which has to do with old people at the University of Sao Paulo Medical School, said the part of the brain involved in executive functioning, the ability to process information and make decisions, is especially impacted by the risk of cognitive decline, according to the study. More than 10,000 Brazilians between 35 and 74 were followed for the 10 years for the study, which aimed to see how eating this kind of food affected brain power. Participants were tested at the beginning and end of the study to see if the mental state had changed. Tests included immediate and delayed word recall, word recognition, and verb fluency. They also had to complete food questionnaires to determine how much ultra-processed foods they consumed. Those who consumed the most ultra-processed food had a 28% faster rate of cognitive decline, a 25% faster rate of executive function decline compared to those executive, like you execute something, executive function decline compared to those who ate less than 20%. In addition to cognitive decline, ultra-processed food are linked to increased risk of obesity, heart and circulation problems, right? The increased LDL, cholesterol, and all that shit. Diabetes, cancer, and a shorter lifespan. Okay, and that's pretty much the rest of it. Okay, Sirach 30 and 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Now, this bodybuilder, right, who's I'm not gonna say he's one of my favorites, but he's one of the guys that like I would pay attention to. Larry Scott. I don't think he's even alive anymore, but he was a bodybuilder back, I think like in the 60s or something. This bodybuilder, Larry Scott, he had a quote. I think it was no. It wasn't Larry Scott. No, it was Jack LaLanne. That's another bodybuilder who I would pay attention to too. I like him too, you know, because I think he was from like the 40s and 50s. Man, where the hell I get Larry Scott from? I don't think it was Larry Scott. So I think it was Jack LaLanne, and Jack LaLanne, he said that when people have like donuts and all these processed foods, and you ask them, okay, why don't you give some of that to your dog? They'll say, no, I can't give that to my dog. It'll kill her. It'll kill him or her, right? Then, you know, if you won't give the processed foods to your dog, and you know that will kill your dog, then why are you eating it? Wouldn't it kill you too? See? And it shows you that, you know, the complete, I guess, illogical, nature of these people, man. They just do things that are convenient and that feel good. But little did they know is that, like, you'll honestly get, a good feeling off of eating right. Like even making things like a kale smoothie. Like I made that recently, and I felt good after it. I'm not gonna overdo it though, because with those smoothies and stuff like that, it's pretty much like really concentrated amounts of like, folate and other stuff that's in those kind of things. Which I gotta look into it. I don't really think you could even really overdose on like folate and like vegetables and all that stuff. It just depends. Certain things you can, if you get like 1,000 milligrams of whatever you, it might make you toxic, But what I wouldn't do is like drink like, I don't know, a bunch of fruit smoothies a day, like make your whole diet roll around fruit smoothies. That's not a good idea, because fruits have sugar in them too. So right, health and body, and good state of body above all goals, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Right, and that's from the scriptures, man. All right, so look at the next verse. There's no riches above the sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Right, there's no riches above the sound body, and that should be your priority. Right, let's get another one. Right, let's get another one real quick. The Lord created, Sirach 30 and 4. The Lord have created medicines out of the earth, he that is wise will not abhor them. Okay? So, he that is wise will not abhor these medicines, these herbs. Okay, so you're supposed to take the herbs as well. And if you're dealing with the digestive problems, such as myself, like you eat, and if you belch after you eat, right, that pretty much means that you don't have enough enzymes in your body. I'm just passing on this information, so what you need to do is that you should look into getting some digestive enzymes. That's what I'm going to do in these coming days. I'm going to save up some money and buy some enzymes. Of course, I'm going to get the vegetable ones, like some sort of enzyme veggie blend, right? Something that comes in a vegetable capsule, right? Watch out for anything that has magnesium stearate that has pork in it. Watch out for anything that has gelatin that has pork in it. And just look up those ingredients and make sure it's a veggie capsule, right? So, once again, these foods out here, they fuck you up. They give you, mental fucking degradation over time. And all these foods, they got metals in it, and, industrial fucking pollutants and all this bullshit in it. And all that shit's on these fucking farms too. GMOs and there's pesticides in that too. So all that shit's no good for you, man. And I remember I was watching the open forum, and Zella Apostle Tahar, I think, who said this, one of the elders, the open forum, that was the old one I posted on my community tab. And they talked about that, and they said that dementia and all that stuff is basically caused by like metals in your brain. And there's actually certain herbs out there that are good for getting the metals out your brain. So that's something look into. But I'm actually gonna mention one more precept. Okay, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse man, I can really talk about all these, but yes, give to the people, stay into the side, straight to the end. Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and take the change times and laws. They shall be given to his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Right? Now the 10 horns, right? It's basically talking about America, right? One shall rise at them, shall be the first from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings, talking about America, right? Came out of Britain. And basically, he's just to do 3 kings, right? It's the British, the French, and the Spanish, right? America took down the British American War, the American War of Independence. The French with the French and Indian War, which that was when Britain still owned America. So that's before the American Revolution. And then you have the Spanish-American War, which that one, I think that had the sinking with the USS Maine. That was set up off of a false pretense, set up off of a false flag op. And yes, they were doing that shit back then. They did it with Vietnam. They've been doing this shit for years, man. Alright. Moving on. Right. And he should speak great words against the Most High, which he's doing, right? Look at the devils. Look at your presidents. Your presidents align themselves with devils, with these WF, individuals, and pretty much them co-signing it. They've been doing that for years, right? Thomas Malthus, Malthusian principles. You can look that up for yourself. It's always been in a society. The eugenics, the American Eugenics Society, right? Hitler was reading eugenics books from America, right? And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, which they're doing. And this is an example of it with the food, wearing our people out, Even when it comes to organic food, you have to be picky with that too. I mean, you can only be picky with so much, but you got certain things out there because that stuff all goes into the Codex Alimentarius that believe even with certain organic food, they're supposed to have like a certain amount of antibiotics or pesticides or something I remember reading like that they can put in there. There's a certain limit to how much they can have of certain chemicals. Shows that your organic food isn't safe. And right, and also with that, right, as all as a people, man, they wearing our people out, man, and that goes into the curses, man. That goes into the curses, man. We're in this society. We have to go for these people for one of all things, including food, right? And the food is fucking right. Number one, they purposely put the McDonald's around the poor neighborhoods, right? They have Jake in there, so they can have Jake go there to get their food, and Jake go there, eat there, get a fucking whole fucking meal for under $5, right? Ain't no fucking meal supposed to. If a meal costs you, and I'm talking about a full fucking meal, like fucking appetizer, so-called appetizer, French fries, a burger, a soda, right? Which that's a meal to these fucking people. That's not a fucking meal, man. That's fucking garbage, right? A real meal would be like, I don't know, some chicken, some veggies, maybe some like quinoa or some rice, or I love potatoes, right? That's a meal. McDonald's, that's not food, man. You shouldn't be going to fucking McDonald's for food, man. Right, but back to this, right? They put that in the Jake neighborhoods, and Jake go there, and Jake go eat that shit, and then it causes the mental decline, man. Which I'm not surprised, man. Which other pastor talked about that too in that video. What I do in the mornings, and he posted that green elixir. He said, "You niggas just ain't right, man," and he's right. No, did he say that in that one? No, he said that in the open forum. Whoops, he said that in the open forum. He said a nigga just ain't right, and it goes back to that food, man. It fucks with your spirit, man. You gotta watch what you eat. And that's why brothers always talk about that too. Watch what you eat, especially before a camp. Alright, watch what you eat, especially before a camp, because if you eat something that you're not really supposed to, it can mess with how you pull out precepts and how you function. So you gotta optimize your stuff, man. You gotta care about yourself. And I'm starting to figure that out more and more. Gotta have more self-worth, gotta have more self-worth, right? Instinct to change times and laws, and they should be given into his hand until a time, and times and dividing a time. And they've done that, man. They changed the laws, right? The times, they changed the times. They go off of a solar calendar, Gregorian calendar, which that came back. I think that goes back to Jake's, but the Jake's got that stuff from the Romans and so on and so forth, right? And then I think those Romans, then they got it from Roman Edomites, and those Roman Edomites, the Julian calendar, I think they got those from Hamites, from straight up Egyptians, right? And right, into a time, the time is dividing a time, and that's right now for a time, and we're still in that time. But the time is coming, because we see these curses coming upon these Edomites, where their women are starting to be fat, ugly, fucking, their women be having fucking 50 years old, having fucking dyed blue hair, right? And, wearing fucking short shorts like a fucking 20-year-old. It's fucked, man. It's fucked. I mean, it's to the point where I feel like at that age group, it's pretty fucked out there, man. If you're in that kind of like 50s age group, not to say that you won't get a woman that if you're like 40s or 50s. Once you get to that point in this society, man, I mean, the women that are 40s and 50s and they're single, man, that's a fucking problem. I mean, getting with someone your own age, I mean, you can always date younger and whatever, but those women that like 40s and 50s and they trying to act like they're 20, that's fucking bad, bro. That's rough, man. But once again, the Lord could always bless brothers who are that old and give them, what they need. Which 40 and 50 is, that's nothing, man. Right? A day with the Lord is 1,000 years, and, so on and so forth, right? And that's some time, right? But, down here on this earth, 40, 50 years will really put a number on your body. Because we're in these weak bodies, we're not supposed to be aging like this, And even on this side, you can control how quickly your body age, right? Like the elders and apostles, they aren't walking with canes. You see them camping, man. They be camping out there for 3-4 hours, and then afterwards do an after camp lesson. They do that another an hour, 30 minutes or something, 30 minutes to an hour or something. I don't know. Also, I never, obviously never participated in any of that stuff because, like, I'm not in GMS. I'm just an affiliate. But, I mean, I have seen them, by the camp once. I didn't, say anything to them, And, after the camp is over, that's what they do. No canes, no nothing. All right? So, yeah. Shalom. The one you edified.